In this material, you will learn how to use the oscilloscope tool built into the KME NEVO-SKY Direct controller in order to properly recognize and wire up the petrol injector leads. You will find the procedure on the second page of the installation card. The installation sequence starts with filling out the mounting card completely. We must complete all known details regarding the vehicle being converted and the specific LPG system parts installed. We will complete the rest as the assembly progresses. We should also get a separate piece of paper ready so we can jot down the measurement outcomes as we go. On this sheet, create 4 columns: the wire color, the side, the cylinder number, and the petrol ECU pin designation. In order to commence the signal recognition process for the petrol injectors, we must be able to start the engine on gasoline and ensure that all 8 wires leading from the petrol injectors are positioned somewhere easily reachable. 2 wires from each injector. Typically, the injector wires are routed within what are known as twisted pairs, meaning 2 wires are twisted together. We record the colors of the relevant wires onto the sheet we prepared earlier. On the prepared sheet, we write down the colors of the corresponding wires. The only thing we will use is the KME NEVO-SKY Direct controller. A sharp measurement probe, which we will use to pierce the wires, will prove useful for this task. The NEVO-SKY gas controller should be placed in its final location. Try to place it as close as possible to the petrol controller. Because of the significant currents passing through these wires, it is crucial that the connections for the petrol injector signals are kept as short as feasible. The controller must be connected to the battery power supply, and it must have the plus 12-volt ignition signal connected. We also link it to the onboard diagnostic system of the petrol ECU. While installing, we refer to the wiring diagram to ensure the entire process is efficient. We now proceed to start the engine up. We connect to the control unit using the genuine KME USB optic interface and the NEVO-SKY software. Once launched, the software will automatically try to establish a connection with the control unit. Should newer firmware be available for your specific control unit, the application will notify you accordingly. It is advisable to always operate using the most current software version available. To update the controller, follow the program's instructions. At this point, the controller and the Sky Expert system may report errors, but we can disregard these warnings for now since the control unit is not yet completely wired up. We start working in the program by entering information about the car and the workshop into the controller in the workshop information window for the purpose of complete vehicle identification. The subsequent phase involves pinpointing the exact physical location of the number 1 cylinder within our engine block. To do this, we check if the OBD system is reporting any errors for the gasoline injectors. Access to the onboard diagnostic system is gained within the NEVO-SKY software by selecting the OBD tab. We clear any errors and ensure they do not reappear. Subsequently, unplug the connector from the furthest ignition coil and wait until the OBD system registers a fault code. Reading the error code will tell us which cylinder we disconnected. We record the information on our installation card regarding whether the first cylinder is on the left or the right side. This is important because there is no fixed rule regarding the placement of the first cylinder. We will need this piece of information later on to ensure the correct connection of the gas injectors during the subsequent steps. We now need to find the gray and black wire that originates from the gas control unit. This is the oscilloscope tool wire. We connect it to the previously prepared probe and insulate it. Navigate to the KME NEVO-SKY software. Select the direct section and then choose the oscilloscope utility. Set the tool into the signal detection operational mode. By selecting the start option, the program will take one measurement and then freeze the result. In auto mode, the program will continuously take measurements and refresh the results. If, after piercing the wire, the screen still displays a message, it could indicate that our probe did not make proper contact. The probe is connected incorrectly, or we are measuring a signal other than the gasoline injector signal. We are now measuring signals for the 8 petrol injector wires. Let's focus on one pair. With the engine running, measure one signal first by inserting the probe into it. The screen will show 8 distinct segments, each displaying the pulses in sequential order. The distinguishing feature of the control side signal is the presence of a greater number of sharp peaks. The waveforms for the control side and the supply side differ for every car. But if we keep in mind the principle that the control side exhibits more narrow spikes, we are able to recognize the correct sides without any problem. After we have definitively determined which wire in the pair serves as the control side and which serves as the supply side, we mark the control side using a small piece of insulating tape and then document our findings on the paper, labeling the control side with the letter S and the supply side with B+. We repeat this process for every pair of gasoline injectors. Please remember that this specific method is the only way to guarantee that the correct wires are being connected. Having determined all sides for all injectors, we can move on to assigning the corresponding cylinder numbers to each specific pair. To do this, take any pair and with the engine running, cut the control side wire. Next, we use the onboard diagnostic system to check for any registered fault codes. The moment we see an injector error appear on the system, immediately switch off the engine. The error code will indicate the corresponding cylinder. We record this information on the sheet. With the engine now switched off, we connect the correct wires of the gas control unit harness, following the provided wiring diagram precisely. We connect the wire with the black stripe from the gasoline controller side. Due to the high currents flowing through the wires, soldering the connections is necessary, but ensure that you properly insulate all the wires after soldering. We repeat this process for every pair of gasoline injectors. Once we have made all the connections, we determine the Petrol computer pin for the connected wires. For this purpose, we use a meter with a circuit continuity testing function. The pin information might be useful to us in the future when we are going to work with an identical vehicle, so as not to have to go through the process of finding the right wires again. Now that the installation is ready, we transcribe the information from the sheet onto the assembly card. You will find further details within the technical specifications located in the section labeled Documentation. After the assembly is finished, we send the assembly card along with other data to or pass them on to the regional advisors. If you have encountered unusual problems, please send an email to us at the address expert@kme.eu, making sure to attach the setting files and the oscilloscope run files and describe the problem accurately.